Stars are whispering tales of old, planets spinning, stories bold. Life is dancing through the night, countless worlds in the starlight. Galaxies full of mystery, infinite in their history. Beyond our dreams and our sights, life blooms in the cosmic lights, dancing on the edge of space. Take me away, feeling the universal grace. In the dark our hearts ignite, life across the endless night. Nebulas with colors bright, birth new wonders in the light. Comets trail their sparkling tears, life endures through the years. In the silence of the void, every heartbeat is enjoyed. From the depths and to the heights, life expands through cosmic night. Dancing on the edge of space, and off we go, feeling the universal grace. In the dark our hearts ignite, life across the endless night. Dancing on the edge of space, and off we go, feeling the universal grace. In the dark our hearts ignite, life across the endless night.
Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to Sky Tour Livestream. This is Mark D'Antonio. I just decided to do a spontaneous stream tonight. I'll tell you why. Comet Lemon is really close to the southern or to the western horizon. That's it right there, seen from Benson, and this is it seen from the Sonoran telescope, 220 miles to the northwest. It's really, really close to the horizon, so close that you're seeing the glow of the air mass, the air between us and that location. I'm going to see if I can change the color rendering here, make it a little better, but I think it's gonna be stuck like that. Well, I want you to notice something here, and by the way, I'm sorry I just jumped right in without saying hi to anybody, but I will. But Comet Lemon's almost below the horizon tonight. And I just want to show you this before now. I might start earlier the next time so that we can get Comet Lemon a little higher, because I took some photos of it prior to this moment, and I could have shown it to you at like 8:30 or 8:45, and so maybe I'll be able to go a little earlier. Anyway, we're seeing some of the remaining daylight here. That's what this is. This is what this is out here. This glow. But this nice blue tail, this blue straight tail, see what that is? Then we have this fuzzy tail here. This is actually a fuzzy yellowish tail. In this view, you can see the blue emanating from the core of the comet right there, from the core of the nucleus. That's the same comet as here, okay, but a much more detailed view of it. And we're seeing that ion tail. That's the blue ionization tail. This is the dust being left behind as the comet moves around in its orbit. And the dust tail kind of is lazy. It kind of follows the orbit, and then it gets the solar wind pushes it around a little bit, so it gets some curviness to it. And I'm probably going to see if I can be up by about 6 a.m. tomorrow morning here in Connecticut, where I am, so that it'll be 4 a.m. out in the desert, and take this telescope and look at 3i Atlas, because it's up now and I'll be able to catch it just before the sun rises. So I'm going to try and do that. But this tail is beautiful. In our view, we're actually seeing about this much of the comet right here. This in here. This is a much smaller, is a much larger view. We got a degree and a half of sky here that we're looking at, and that ion tail stretches very strongly throughout the entire length here, which is cool, you know. Anyway, so there is Comet Lemon. This is Comet Lemon, and in a moment we're going to go to Comet Swan, but you can see all the beautiful nuance between the Benson telescope here, which is a much more close-up, high resolution shot, and this guy here, which is a much wider angle field of view. Obviously, we can zoom in on this, but we're not going to get nearly the quality as we would with the other telescope. Now, different types of mounts, cause different types of angles to the comet. Here, the tail looks like it's going to the right. Here, the tail looks like it's going to the left. That has to do with the structure of the telescope mounts, which you can see up there. Now, interestingly, I'm going to show you something. I mentioned to you a while back that, as an astronomer, I'm on a plateau with a bunch of other professional astronomers. And here is our telescope right here, okay? And there is another telescope right there from the next observatory over. There's a whole string of observatories up here. And all of us that are astronomers, we have our little spaces up there and our little places to actually do our research. So there's all these little box structures all the way down the mountain path here, the mountain road. And it's pretty. So actually I can show you that a little more. I'll move that camera over so you can see that. And if we move over even a little more, okay, you can see the rest of the mountain. And right there, you'll notice there's a dome up there. That's the dome for a 20-inch telescope that's up there. And these lights look like they're bright, but they're not. You can't even see them. It's really, really dark up here. And so I'm going to bring us back to look at the telescope, because this camera is mounted on the outside of the building. All right. And it's meant to show us the telescope. I have the infrared lights on this camera turned off. It has an infrared system to be able to look, and penetrate the darkness. However, the infrared lights will interfere with other astronomers' cameras, so I keep it turned off. All right. So so Comet Lemon in this view is almost going away. It's literally almost on the horizon. So we're gonna get out of there, and I'm gonna take us to another comet that's here. I think I have Swan in here. If I don't, I'm gonna have to find it. Oh, wait a minute. There. That's Comet Swan Nebula. I want Comet Swan. Comet Swan. I guess I don't have Swan defined here. But I know where it is. So what I'll do is I'll bring it in. But what I'll do, so this here in this telescope in Benson, I'm going to get out of this. I saved this already, so this will be available to you. And I'm going to take this now and go back to our low light mode. And in that low light mode, we're going to be able to check out the other comet of the evening. And the telescope's really low right now, as you can see. So I'm going to take us now to Comet Swan. which is here, and it's actually pretty high in the sky, so we should be able to see it without any problem. So we're gonna check it out right now. We're gonna head there, so you can see the telescope moving right now, and I guess you can't really hear it moving, but it is. All right, and let's see if Swanee will be in here. Telescope is gonna move around to actually be able to find it. All right, and I'm going to bring this up here. And I'm gonna put my gain back up higher. Okay. All right. And now, I actually didn't do anything yet. That might be Swan right there. Let's move the telescope in that direction and bring it in. Swan is a different comet. You saw the comet actually. I'm going the wrong way. Wouldn't you know it? The other down. Yeah, so we'll bring this in. All right. I think that's it. So what I'm gonna do is I tried to focus earlier, and it may be focused. Yeah, that's Swan. You can definitely see the green. Okay, so I'm gonna move us over a little bit, kind of center it up. All right, there we go. And now what I'll do is take our telescope, and first things first, let's get some guide stars. All right, so we're going to get a guide star here. We got plenty, that's good. And we're going to grab those stars. Good, perfect guide star, and we're going to tell it to go guiding. This is our error here. It's very low. It's really good when it's low. Okay, so now that we're guiding, let's take a look at this. Let's say 20 seconds on this. So we'll say 20 seconds. Now what that means is we're going to expose this for 20 seconds. So for 20 seconds, light's going to continue to hit the sensor and the camera. And that's actually good, because that'll mean that we're going to build up an image on there. And that's something that's really important. All right, so now let's also bring up our live stack. And when we get the first image, okay, now that doesn't look like much, I realize. Okay, and but there it is. There's Comet Swan. You can see that beautiful green glow, which I'll tell you all about. I think you may have heard me talk about this before, but I will again, because I don't know when to be quiet. All right, so I'm going to take our black level and I'll move it back a little bit, because we're kind of losing some of the detail here. Okay, and let's do this. We're getting some wind out there right now, I can see. Let's grab that guide star again, and let's try and keep it there. You can see that it hasn't had much of a difference. Okay, so now there is the core of the Comet Swan, and you'll notice it has a little like length to it, and that's not, you're not looking at the nucleus. Okay, what you're seeing there is actually the comet moving in the sky. You're actually watching the comet move, and that's pretty cool. Right? So over time, you'll just see a long dash of green, like an oblong green thing. And time exposures of the comet will show that. So we're going to change the name here to Comet Swan. And if you want to see the previous pictures that I took of Comet Lemon, all you have to do is go here, go to skytourlive.org, and you can scroll down to where it says, show me cool pictures, or I want cool pictures, and then read the instructions there, and you can get into our directory And it's all free, and you can download these images right away. All the images of Lemon are up there now. All right, and this one here, I could not align, or say it's not stacking because it can't align, and that's because I told it to do this. All right, I'm going to clear that and have it start over. Okay, so there's our first one. You can see this beautiful image. Notice how it's kind of round, right? But that's 20 seconds. Now, let's see if it stacks the next one. I told it not to use our full width half maximum stacking alignment here because I would like to, see it doesn't work, so it's rejecting it. I don't want it to use this. I want it to just stack regardless. And I don't know why it's not doing that. But that's okay. It might just be might be a problem I don't yet understand. But it should be able to stack. And it could be because the comet is actually the comet's actually moving, and it's detecting that, and so it's saying, "Oh, I can't align the stars," and that's kind of a problem. But that's okay, because this is actually the best image of it that we'll get because it's moving, and so it'll blur. So this one image is actually pretty cool. So we'll do that, and we'll save it, save exactly a scene. I could also come in here and try to find, we are getting some wind out there. Our guide star was blown off a little bit. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try to increase the exposure for our guide camera by a half a second. And that should allow us to see some additional stars. It might give us this. Let's try this. Okay, it's going to the same guide star. I don't want that guide star. I want to use this star. So I'm going to tell it to use that star. And so I'm going to stop it and tell it use that star. All right, and guide on that star. Okay. And let's clear this again. The full width half maximum filter is not working because it's a little windy. Early in the evening out there, the wind does pick up a little bit. Okay. I want you to notice something too in a moment. All right. Over here, this view is pretty, and what you're seeing right here, right there, that line right there, that's the Milky Way showing up really brightly. It's really pretty. All right. Yeah, no, it didn't capture it. All right, well, interesting. Well, actually, you know what I can do? Because I'm guiding, let me turn off align frames, and that'll force it to capture. And let's see if the stars get all wonky. They may or they may not. So there, so it didn't, and the stars aren't wonky. All right, that's because we're guiding very accurately with this other process out here. Let's slide this down. All right, yeah, there. So now you can see some really cool details in there of the nucleus of Comet Swan. Okay, we've got 3 here that we've captured. I'm going to save right here, and I'm going to get to the chat in just a minute. I just wanted to get this all started. And in addition, what I'd like to do is bring us to some other objects and show you those as well, because I think that's pretty cool. And we'll do that in just a minute. I'm going to do one other thing here. You hear those little bells going off, those are guiding. They're guiding bells, saying that the guiding is not sufficient right now, but that's okay. That's okay. All right, so that's, all right, here we go. But as you can see, the guiding is sufficient. It's actually working very nicely. It's very forgiving. I love it. So I'll move this mid-level in, and you'll see that it gets a little brighter. All right, and I'll save it like this. So this is Comet Swan. Okay, and we're going to save that exactly as seen. There we go. Nice. Comet Swan's fun. Now, on to the chat. Let's see who's here tonight. Oh, man. Hey, already I see Sharon and Katie gave us $2. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Michael Hedrick's here. He's at work, but he'll be with us soon, I'm sure. And then Ron Regier is with us. My friend Ron up in Rimrock, Arizona. You know, I owe him a visit, you know, and I'm going to get there, Ron, I promise. I will. You have a beautiful site up there. And right around the corner from his house, there is a guy with 2 observatories on his front lawn. You know, talk about needing to have observatories, for crying out loud. You know, I guess I'm the same way, though, aren't I? Right, I'm going to knock this out for now and bring us back to 1 second here and show you this again. That's Comet Swan again. And I'll go back to the other telescope right now, because in this telescope, I've moved the view to the Scutum star cloud, and it's actually a very interesting location. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it to tell me where we are, because it can do that, and it knows. And so there's the star identified. Okay, I'm going to say move that star into the center. Okay, yes, confirming. I want you to move it into the center. And you'll see that star move to the center of the view here. Okay. And then it'll relabel it as soon as it's recentered. There we go. Okay. And that is a Starlink satellite coming through. How about that? Yeah. And you'll notice that that orange bar across the top, it failed because the moment I actually tried to tell it to tell me where we were in the sky, it had this object come through, and then it couldn't solve for where we were because it had this bright object sliding through. So that's one of those weird things. Okay, so now that star is Hipparchus 91960. 91960, yeah. So I'll come in here and I'll just do a search for that star. All right, Hipparchus 91960. Yeah, there it is. And I'll say go to that star. All right, and there it is. We'll zoom in. All right, and we're very close to where we want to be. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell the telescope to synchronize to that coordinate. You'll see that plus sign go there. That's beautiful. So now, when we come in here, we will there goes another one. We're going to redo that. There we are. And so we're good. So now what we'll do, we're all aligned, telescope's all set up, and we are in the wide field system now. Remember, this is Benson, this is the narrow field system. Here's the wide field, and right here. And and this is just a live view. This isn't even a photograph being taken right now. So what I'll do is I'm going to take us into our planetarium view, because here's the whole star cloud that we're in, and the size of the field is right here in this red box, okay? And so this is a 1 degree, 1.5 degree field by 1 degree, so 1.5 degrees by 1 degree in size, okay? And that's where we are. So what I'll do now is I'll take us up to, I'm just going to move us just a little bit to the east, and I'm going to slide this really interesting cluster into view here. All right. You see all the stars here. We are in the middle of the Sagittarius Milky Way, and here comes that cluster I was telling you about. Right into this location. Hey, you know what? You do want me as your navigator on the spaceship. I can promise you. Okay, this is the wild duck cluster known as Messier 11. All right, and it's beautiful. And what I'll do is I will take a 25-second photo of it, and in fact 25 seconds is even unnecessary, but I want you to see the star cloud that's down here, down low. Okay, so that's going. You can see, you can't see. I have to kind of make a little adjustment. There you go. Now you can see our yellow progress bar over there, right over here. All right, it'll disappear behind our Asterian Foundation sponsor. All right, so right now in our live stack, okay, here you'll see it. Here is this beautiful cluster. Now it's the raw view right now, so I'm going to take this out. All right, and I'm going to color correct, and then I'm going to do some processing, some quick processing to show us the details. And boom, look at that. Now we'll move this down here. This is the mid-level layer here, and you'll notice something interesting about this location. All right, this is our black level. All right, and as we move to the just before the peak of the curve, we'll get the best view, a best contrast. What you'll notice is these dark areas in here. These dark areas are dark dust in our galactic disk, and we are looking directly at the galactic disk right now. All right, and this galactic disk is probably this direction. This distance here is about 10 to 20,000 light years from us. So those dark clouds are about that distance, and if we pull this down, we can soften this a little bit, and the longer we go here, the better image we'll acquire, you know. And I'm actually looking here. I can see that I gotta raise our full width half maximum. I'm doing that in this telescope. In this telescope, I'm not using that system. In this telescope, I am. All right, and now what I'll do at the same time is I'm going to bring us over to the same cluster, but seen with the Benson telescope, and that one is going to be cool. So we'll watch this one develop as we move and see the same cluster in the other telescope, and it's actually pretty cool. And these are the final gasp of summer. Right now they're in the southwest. All right, and so we're trying to catch them, you know. All right, our telescope is underway, as you can see. No, you can't see. Now you can. All right, so we're pointing now toward the southwest, and you can see the Milky Way right there in our view. That's just beautiful. And here's Messier 11. It's right there, and we'll move it up into the view. So this shows you directly the difference in the scale for these two telescopes. And so that's what I really wanted you to see tonight, was that, because that's really cool. All right, so I'll move this over and let it get all oriented. All right, so this is Messier 11. And this is Messier 11. So you can see the size of our field between the two telescopes. Okay. So obviously this one is for detail, and this one is for wide field. So here, this one we can see these dark clouds really easily. And in this one, we can see clusters and elements of nebulae much better as we zoom in. So let's actually get a guide star here. All right, and getting a guide star here is actually going to be a no-brainer. There's going to be a lot to choose from. Okay, there we go. You can see all the guide stars here in this secondary camera. I have two cameras, one to guide and one to do this. And this guiding will be beautiful because that's a nice bright star. Okay, so it's guiding, having fun. So what I'll do now is take a picture equivalent. In this view over here, we're taking a photo that's 25 seconds long. You can see it right there, 25 seconds. And in this view, we're going to take a 25-second photo as well. Now, hopefully, the guiding won't have a problem with the wind, because I know that the wind is kicking up early in the evening here. It is a lot earlier than we normally do this, right? Because we set the clocks back and we got an extra hour, so we can start earlier now. This is great. All right, let me live stack now. Hi Genghis, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see Dean Bostador with us. And oops, okay, I got to get rid of that process. There we go. And I'm going to color correct, make it correct. And then I'm going to do this. This is going to help us. Look at that. Wow. So now you can see this beautiful, this is the curve. The white curve is the average of the red, green, and blue curves. And so what we do is we will move, that curves will change as pictures are being taken and we get more and more data. The more pictures that are taken, the less noise that we'll get in our image. But for now, I can actually move this way down and show you the beauty of that cluster. And compare that to this cluster. It's the same cluster. Isn't that something? That's a beautiful cluster. Absolutely. Absolutely gorgeous. You know, but this one is more detailed and this one shows a wider field. Now, in this view, look at this. Now you see the whole star cloud. This is called the scutum star cloud, this whole area. This is made up of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of stars that you're looking at right here. And there's so many of them that their light blends together. And many of them are older stars. So you're looking at stars that are more yellow and red. So that's why the color looks the way it does. And that's exactly what we see. Now, you may, if any of you asked where Daryl is today, I actually didn't think I was going to stream. And so I just did this at the last second. So I'm sorry that I didn't call him, because I literally would have given him a 5 minutes warning. That's how soon it was. But I noticed it was going to be clear. I saw both telescopes were going to be in the clear. So I wanted to have both running so I could show you these comparison shots. So this is Measure 11, all right? And if I were to annotate this and give you the annotation, you'll see that it'll label it as such. Okay, and I'm going to tell it to do that. All right. And I'm looking at this. Here it is, right there. Okay, Measure 11, yeah, that's the target name. So we're going to set our target name. And I'll save the image with the annotations right there. All right. And now that'll be saved out there. And this photo will be out there in less than 30 seconds on our server at skytourlive.org. You can go get it. All right. Then over here, right, on this image, I'm also going to annotate. And you'll see the difference, obviously, in the size of the object, of course. There it is. That's a big difference. Okay. And we'll save this image with the annotations after I set the target name. Okay. So now that target name is set, Measure 11. And I'm now going to save with the annotations. So this image, just like you see it here, will be saved on our server. And you can go get it, look at it, download it for free. It's all free. We're just great people. I'm kidding. All right, so now that we did that, we don't need this anymore, so we can get rid of it here, we can get rid of it here. All right, and just enjoy. Now we have 18 images now stacked. You can see right there, 18 images have been stacked. So we take one, take a second, align it with the first, and make an image sandwich. And we do that over and over and over. And the more we do, the less noise we see. As we zoom in, we'll be able to zoom in more now. Okay? And I mean, it looks like you're looking at a wet driveway, doesn't it? Yes, it does. I heard some of you laughing just now. I heard that. Don't think I didn't. Yeah. So basically, the wet driveway approach is something that is what the Milky Way will look like to you. You know, so there's Messier 11 right there. Okay, and we see these dark nebulae, and it's neat because this is a really, really dark area right there. That's not an area where there's a lack of stars. That's a dark dust blocking our view of the stars behind it here. Okay, so that's how that works. Right. So we've got, let's see, let's go over here, and 11 have been stacked here. So we're gonna save this and save exactly as seen. There we go. All right. So we do that. Hey, Hunter. Good. My son just got back from a trip, and there we go. So we're gonna do that. Interesting thing is his middle name is Orion, just like the constellation. Astronomers' kids. What can I tell you? My oldest son is Gabriel Galileo D'Antonio. All right. So let's see now. Marianne Robb is with us. Hey, Marianne. I'm kind of lax. I haven't been able to say hello to everybody as well as I wanted to. Sam S is with us. Hey, Sam. That Sam's 5963. Mr. Django, how's it going over there in Belgium? Sharon and Katie, again, thank you for the donation. That was kind. Genghis, as I mentioned. Cyclone's with us. Daisy and Zoe Amethyst. And Dusty Witch is with us. Hey, man. How you doing? And I will say, you know, if any of you want a t-shirt that's the coolest thing, I'm gonna see if I can show you the image of it, because we have a bunch of these shirts, and for a $25 donation, which you can do on our site at skytourlive.org, you get one of these shirts. And let me see if I can show it to you. I think you'll like it. Now, I finally have the image of the shirt, so this is cool. Let me get a window here and bring this up. There we go. That should be it. All right, here, check it out. Well, I'd let you check it out if I could move it up to where you'd see it. How about that? Here you go. All right, so here, this is our I Need My Space t-shirt, and it actually it has a message for everybody out there that thinks Pluto isn't a planet. You can see that I had Pluto put on here. Okay, so I Need My Space, and it has our skytourlive.org t-shirt. If you want to join our family, $25 donation at skytourlive.org, and you can be you'll be in possession of a shirt. So when you give your donation and fill out your information, tell us your size, and we will send you one. All right, they're beautiful shirts. You forget you're wearing them. They're so soft. Really, really beautiful shirt, and it'll help us. We're a nonprofit. You know, we don't take a dime for what we do. So we do this just out of the passion. So, okay, like I said, again, skytourlive.org for a $25 donation. Christmas is coming, man. Why not? No, wait. Thanksgiving is coming. You need one for Thanksgiving. You got to wear a skytourlive.org t-shirt, that Needs Your Space t-shirt, in front of the relatives on Thanksgiving. You know? Wear it to an ugly sweater party, too. It's not a sweater, but who cares? It's a cool shirt. Wear it anyway. Anyway, if you guys feel inclined and you want to support us, that's one way you can do it and get something for it and enjoy. So hopefully you can do that. You know, Toner Lowe is with us. Hey, Toner, how you doing? And 12 Feet Tall is with us. Hey, man. That's excellent. He's like, I'm on my bed watching this on my phone. Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that, because there's such cool things. I mean, look at this over here. Look at this. You can't see all the detail here. Look, we got 28 images here, and I'm going to save those. Now, save that as one picture. Save exactly as seen. That's gorgeous. And then, of course, over here we have the same thing, but in close-up. And, you know, the thing is, that's not how, I mean, this is only at, right here, this is 42% the size that it is native to it. So I can go all the way up to a much bigger size. So it's actually a very, very nice big sensor that we're using. And what's interesting is, in this telescope, 1.5 degrees by 1 in size, okay, we actually are we're putting all that in a camera that is 5,496 pixels by 3,672 tall. So basically 5,400 by 3,000 tall. This is 3,000 by 3,000. Okay, it's 3,000 by 3,000, but it's a much smaller view. So per arc second, per small segment of the sky, we're getting an immensely larger amount of detail, which you can't do with this telescope. This is great for the wide field stuff. This is great for the other. So let's see if, while we're here, let's see now. I'm going to save this one more time and then save it exactly as seen. And then let's see if we can do a really cool shot of something that's really low, but we'll try it. I like doing this one because it showcases this very well. We're going to go down to the Eagle Nebula, all right? And that's where the pillars of creation are located. So I'm going to show you the pillars of creation as Hubble shot them, all right? And that's going to be cool. So let's do that. Let's get out of here and go back here and bring up our low light performance mode. And now we're going to do this. We're going to end up going down to our Eagle Nebula. So the telescope, now you'll see it right there. It's going down low, all right, more toward the horizon. But it goes to the Eagle, which is right here. And to do that, we're going to bring it up, all right? And then I'll show you the Eagle in the other telescope as well. And yeah, I think you'll be astonished at the difference. All right, so there we go. So this doesn't look like any kind of an eagle yet, or anything like that, but it does look like it when we actually do our thing. So I'll show it to you here in a second. Wait a minute, did I just see Elizabeth? Did you? Elizabeth Monteith, hey, thank you so much for the donation. The truth is out there, she says. Excellent. It absolutely is. Fred Phonebone, how you doing, man? Okay, so let's look at this object right here. The pillars of creation are right there, but you can't see them, right? Now you can see by the unsteadiness of the sky that the image is going to be a little bit soft because it's kind of low. But that's okay. We're going to just do a 20-second shot here, all right? And we will come out of our low light mode and head to deep sky mode here. And that'll be there. And meanwhile, over here, we're going to save this one more time. Okay. And save exactly as seen. And then we'll go to the same thing over in this telescope here. Okay. So now, okay, my mistake. I needed to start guiding and I didn't. So let me do that. I'm going to take a photo. There we go. And find a good guide star. There we go. That's a good guide star. And now we're going to start guiding on that. And then we can clear this. And now we're guiding. So this should be good. So meanwhile, while we're guiding over here, we're going to head over here and head to the same thing. All right. And so to do that, we're going to back away a little bit. Look down, look down, look down. And there's the Eagle Nebula. Oh, here we go. And I'm going to say, let's go. All right. So the telescope is now going to look at the Eagle Nebula. At least it's going to try. Let's do this. All right. All right. There we go. So now I'm going to get us out of here and get us back to here. And then we should, yes, I know. And there's the cluster. All right. So we're guiding, but it's kind of tough because we're low to the horizon right now. But look, here is the pillars of creation right here. There they are. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the cosmic fairy right there. Another one. Okay, really pretty. And then over here, that's actually what I was looking at right here. There they are. That is the pillars of creation right there. Okay. And so to look at those now here, again, it's low. But let's take a look over in this view. And let's do a similar photograph of 20 seconds here. And see how it looks over here. Okay. So we're underway with a 20-second photo. We're going to do a live stack of this. All right. Oh, yes. Meanwhile, we're stacking over here and waiting for the other one to come in. So we've got 5 stacked. You can see right there. Right here. Now 6. Okay. And now, look at this. The same region from the wide field view. Look at that. So you'll say, but wait, where are the pillars of creation? Well, the pillars of creation, to see them, we have to zoom in, don't we? I'm trying to zoom in. It's not listening to me. Oh, no wonder. I was doing the wrong thing. Sorry. Okay, so there is the pillars of creation here. And you'll notice that we're going to color correct it as well. There we go. Now the colors are correct. And we can do this. You notice that the wide field system allows us, I'll zoom out for this, to see, and this is low to the horizon. It allows us to actually see all the other detail around that is buried deep in the background. We don't see that. Alright, so now I'm going to do this. I'm going to actually also bring this down a little bit because that's a little loud. And I will kind of process this a little better. Give us a little darker view. There we go. Look at that. How pretty, huh? The pillars of creation. Yep. And I'm going to try something else too. Yeah, I'm going to do this. Alright, I'm going to save it. I'm going to save this. Yeah, okay, I didn't save it to the right place. That's okay. Alright. And I'll just save exactly as seen. And then I can move it later. I should have changed the name. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this over again and start the live stack again. Because I've made it switch to look the same way as this one. Look how fuzzy this is. It's fuzzy because it's so low to the horizon. Well, let's just try this anyway. So it should be looking the same direction now. There we go. And now it's the same. So let's zoom in and show you. So I'm going to make it the same size. Okay. It's the same. That's a little too big. That's about the same size, right? And I'll let me color correct to give it the best chance of looking reasonable. Okay. And then I will process this away, take away a lot of the noise. You'll see what I'm doing in a second. I'm going to show you the difference in the number of pixels and how that affects our images. Okay. Now it is low, so you're getting a little bit of a weird look right now. But you see here the pillars? Doesn't look very good, does it? That's because we're pushing the sensor past its useful magnification. However, in this one, okay, now look at this. This one, even low to the horizon, look at that. This is beautiful. This actually looks really nice. And this is the kind of thing that we expect to see when you have more pixels to manage the photo, right? To make the photo for you. Again, going back to this one, it's like, yeesh, okay? But this one, where we have enough pixels in that frame, we can do that. But this one here, this other one, is meant for this kind of view, right here. It's meant for the faraway view. It's not meant to be zoomed way in, okay? It's meant to show the full extent of what's going on out there. So see, that's the difference between these two telescopes, and that's why we got these two different telescopes, just like this. All right, pretty cool. And let's see, Kate Lawler's with us. Hey, Kate, how you doing? Fog Eyes is with us. Nice to see you. I think I said hi to you, Kathy Messick, but hopefully I did. And Donald Kunzer's here. Hey, man, how you doing? Orion is not rising yet. Asking for a friend. That's cute. When it is, though, trust me, we're gonna be looking at it. We'll look at Betelgeuse and check it out as well. And we're gonna be doing a lot of winter views, because this telescope here is so much better at looking at the smaller objects in Orion that we have to this point not been able to view very well. Because this is the wide view. As long as we stay wide field, we look great. But if we try to zoom in like this, well, then it doesn't really work too well. We are extremely low to the horizon right now. Let me show you how close we are. And we're still getting some detail. I'm really surprised. We can still see this beautiful little, dark concentration, this globule out here, this Bach globule that's sitting out there. It looks really pretty. And we are, right now, there's the horizon. We are quite literally, we are just 16 degrees, 15 degrees above the horizon. 12 degrees above the horizon. So that is really, really good for just 12 degrees above the horizon, let me tell you. But we'll do some higher sky things in a moment. All right, so let me just take a look here. See, I'm just looking in the chat again. Jack Astrophoto says, how are you photographing the Milky Sky, the Milky Way? This telescope here is a wide field system. So we have a view that looks like this. This is the size of our field right here. Okay, and we can see huge swaths of sky. Let's see if I can get us farther from the horizon and bring us up to, say, well, this is one I haven't seen, but that's going to be, yeah, we're not going to look at that one because it's too small. Same with that. However, I will bring us over here and take us to this guy. All right. And that's where this one is going to go now. So I'll save this right here. We've got a few captured. I don't have it aligning right now because it's actually having an issue because I didn't raise my filter. I should have risen it up a little bit, but that's okay because this is just to show you what's going on. And I'm going to just save this. Oh, it already saved it. Okay, good. Do that. All right, there we go. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we are going to take the wide field system and head up to another favorite of everybody's, and again do another comparison to show you the difference, which I think is pretty cool. All right, we're going to go here. We're going to go to the Dumbbell Nebula, and we're going to look at it through the eyes of a wide field system. And you can see the telescope right here moving up now, heading up north into the night sky. And it's going to, if we look at this, you'll see our crosshair for the telescope pull right in there. Okay, and there it is. All right, so now you see how small it is there. And if we annotate it, okay, and we do this, you'll see that it'll put a circle around it. Say, okay, this is Messier 24. I'm sorry, Messier 27, the Dumbbell Nebula. We'll center it into view. Okay. Yep. And then we will set the target name. Okay. So it's centering it into view, and then we'll set the target name. There we go. So as a wide field system, it's a little more forgiving if we're not quite accurate with the telescope. Okay. And the thing is, yeah, this other one's getting low now. Look how crappy that looks now. I'm used to things looking so much better. So what we'll do is we're going to take this now and go back to our 1 second mode, right, our deep sky mode. And now we'll go into our planetarium and take us up to the same object. It'll bring us up here, right? And it takes us to Messier 27, which is right up here, right there. That's our summer Milky Way, and it leads into the Cygnus Milky Way. Okay, and we'll be looking at a few things there, I think. Okay, so let's go here now, and as we tell the telescope to go there, you'll watch it move. Here we go, and I have to shut off my guiding because we don't have guiding going on right now. All right. And there it is. So now we have this here. Look at the size difference. Wowee. That is a huge difference. Okay. So let's move it into the view. There we go. Move it up. There we go. Might have gone a little too far. Yeah, one notch too much. Alright, let's bring it back down. And I want to show you the comparison now. This is going to show you the difference between the high focal length telescope, which is what this is. Okay, high focal length means we have more clear details. Alright, and we can see smaller objects in the sky. And compare the size of this right here, okay, to this. That's the same thing, but seen in this other scope. Now, I set the target name and I centered it into view so I can get rid of this. And I will start this taking a picture. I'll start a 25-second shot of this. And we should be guiding, but let me just make sure. We are. Okay, so that's going to do that. Alrighty. And that's going to be starting to guide. As soon as we see numbers here, we know we're ready to start our 25-second photo. Because it means we're then guiding. And we are now guiding. So off we go. So now we're going to capture a 25-second photo of this, and we will also stack it. Meanwhile, over here, don't you love two telescopes? It looks like we might be getting a third. Shh. It might be at, hopefully if this comes to pass, it'll be at 7,000 feet in altitude. I visited the site last year, and I'm going to be going out again. And it looks like we might be able to do another one. Okay, so now, we're going to do a 25-second photo in this telescope now. Now, I have to guide, so I've got to grab my guide star. Okay, and let's grab our guide stars. And I need to make this a little brighter. And we'll say guide. All right. Okay. So that's what 25 seconds does here, but we're not even stacking yet. Let's do it as a stacked object and one that's being guided, because it wasn't being guided. All right. So that's cool. So now that we're being guided, let's pull out of our system, go into deep sky mode. Now check it out. This is cool. Watch what you see here. Look at that. Wow. You know, this is the Dumbbell Nebula. What is it? It's a planetary nebula. What's that? It's a nebula that kind of looks like a planet in a small telescope. So that's why it looks this way. What are those colors? Look at those rich colors. This is the real thing. This is what it looks like if you could see it in color. Now the color is very subtle. So your eyes have rods, okay, which look at black and white information only, and cones, which allow you to see color. The cones are clustered near the center of your retina. The rods are on the outside. So if it's a bright object, you can see the color. The Orion Nebula, for instance, you might be able to see a little bit of green, because there's some greenish color in the Orion Nebula, similar to this bluish green you see here. And this bluish green color you see here is actually due to what's known as doubly ionized oxygen. Okay, so that's oxygen 2, Roman numeral 2. Oh, 3, I'm sorry. Roman numeral 3. Okay, now in the other telescope, what we're looking at is the same object. Okay, we're going to let this zoom. We got 4 already captured here. I'll tell you more about what's going on in here and all over here in just a second, because these objects are just spectacular. Now let's take a look at how this looks in the wide field system. In the wide field system, it looks like it's all alone, as I'll show you in just a second. Okay, it's sitting out in the middle of the universe. All right, let me bring us over there. There it is. Look at that. Now I'm going to do one other thing, because I think, yeah, I'm not using the right color set here, so I can clear this and start again. Back here, this blue and this red are accurate. This is what it looks like. Notice we have these little details. Actually, let me see if I can show you. See these little details right here, these little puffs right here, all that? Those details are due to the way that this star shed its outer layers, because that's what we're seeing here, a star that has shed its outer layers. What's left of the star is literally the nucleus, the core of the star, right there. That blue thing right there is the core of the star remaining behind, and that's actually a white dwarf. Okay, that's what a white dwarf is. They're very hot, and they give off a lot of their radiation in ultraviolet energies, which just so happens to be the thing that electrons love the most. And so in an atom of oxygen in a nebula that's blown off of a star like this, the electrons love to absorb this ultraviolet energy, and when they do, they ionize. They leave the atom for a period of time, and then they bounce back into the atom spontaneously. When they do, they give off blue light in oxygen, all right, for the oxygen atom. For the hydrogen atom, they give off red light, and we see that right there. Look at that. So that red light right there is the result of hydrogen being ionized, and then having the electrons recombine with the nucleus of the hydrogen atom that's still there. Okay, and so that actually is how this works. Now that blue star is blue for a reason. See, in space, the hottest and bluest things are the bluest things, and so that blue color of the star is the hottest and bluest color in the universe. Okay, but the bluish color we see of the nebula isn't nearly as hot. That's a different process that causes that. That's caused by something called an atomic transition. The blue color that we see from the star, that's caused by temperature solely. All right. So hottest and bluest is the O stars, the O-type stars, which are the youngest and hottest. White dwarfs are very, very hot, approaching the same temperature as the O stars, but they're no longer fusing any material. They're not fusing any hydrogen into helium, any helium into carbon, any carbon into nitrogen and oxygen, and so forth to iron, the more massive the star gets. They're not doing any more fusion. They're just the latent heat after the star has blown off its outer layers and stopped fusion. It collapsed. And by collapsing, it makes itself like a billiard ball hardness, but it's a really, really hot billiard ball hardness. Okay? So if you could stand on a white dwarf, you could actually physically stand on a white dwarf. Of course, it's too hot to do, and you know what would happen, and you're gone. Okay? But the key is that when we talk about white dwarfs, they're very, very hot, but they're not really stars anymore in the traditional sense. They're not like all the other stars we see here in this image. They're dead stars. They're the hot remnant of what once was a proud star. So we're looking at this cloud around it, which was what the star was made with. The star didn't make these elements. They didn't make the oxygen that we're seeing doubly ionized here in the blue. All right? It didn't make the hydrogen. This is what the star was made with. That's the outer envelope of the star. The core of the star is only about 15 to 20% of the size of the star. So when you look at the sun's half a degree in size in our sky. You got to take 15 to 20% of that to actually get to the fusing parts. It's actually making the energy that's causing the outer gas that's along for the ride to actually glow as well. But it's causing it to glow. Okay? It's not causing it to fuse. The fusion is really, really, really high temperature process, and that happens in the core only. So there, now you got it. Now you've learned stellar dynamics. Wow. Let's take a look at this in the other telescope. Well, there it is. Okay, now we have 10 images stacked here, and let me do this. Let's see if we can get to see that white dwarf in this one as well. So you notice how the colors are all almost saturated out, and that's something, it's almost so bright now that we can't see. So what we have to do is pull this level here way down to get into that center. And the nice thing is we have the dynamic range to do that with this particular sensor in both this telescope and this telescope. So let's do this again. Let's pull this down a little more. Okay, and I'll zoom in. Make it the same size as the other telescope. Okay. Alright. So there you go. Now, I can see we have a little bit of a focus issue. I have to focus this. But notice that you can see details, but that fuzziness down here, okay, look how much clearer it is here. And this is actually zoomed out. We're at 37%. We can zoom in more here. And that's something we can't do with the other telescope. Okay? Because this telescope is for small objects. This telescope is for big expanses. I'm going to see how the stars are kind of out of focus. I'm going to change that. I'm going to take us back out. And I'm going to go back here. I won't save this because it's not worth saving right now. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to go back to our 1 second mode. Low light mode. We'll have enough stars to do a focus. So it looks focused, but it's not. So what I'm going to do is zoom in. Alright. Like this. And then I'm going to take the stars and make them very obviously out of focus, like that. And then I'm going to do a focus run. It's going to take the whole frame, not just this, but the entire frame. And it's going to grab these stars, and I'm going to tell it to find the focus. So now it's going to run through and find focus. And I'll show you the result of that in just a minute, right after this commercial. Just kidding. But over here on this side, okay, we're at 22 images and climbing. And let's see how our guiding is doing. Yeah, guiding is still doing very good. We had one spot here, that's wind, that happened there. But it's still going okay. Not bad. So being able to see all of these details is very important, especially when we're trying to do some studies. And what kind of studies? Well, studies like spectrographic studies, where we're actually trying to look at the spectra of these objects, and that's something that's really important to do sometimes. Now, I'm going to pull this out too, because I'm going to show you something else. As we zoom out, okay, you'll see that this isn't the extent of the nebula. There's more out here. See that? You may not see that. So what we can do is we can play with our setting over here, this mid-level setting over here. Getting there. There it is. And let's pull that way in. And that'll start pulling out more detail, and now you can see it. And with more pixels to play with, we can see that we don't end up getting loss of detail here. This looks really nice. Okay, and I'll just bring it in even more just to see how far we can go. Oh yeah, so now you see there's other oxygen from the outer envelope of this former star way out here. Isn't that something? Look at that. Really cool. So the Dumbbell Nebula is actually quite a bit more extensive than we've seen before. I just color corrected as well. Isn't that cool? That is so cool. Now we're going to identify this object and set our target name. Okay, and then I'll save it. Save exactly as seen. There we go. Hey guys, let me know if you're having a good time. I hope you are. Remember also what I mentioned before. If you go to skytourlight.org and you want to make a $25 donation, then you will get this shirt right here. You give us your size, and we get you. You get a skytourlight.org shirt. This beautiful black, and it'll be our "I Need My Space" T-shirt, which includes Pluto, which I believe is a planet. That's right. I'm one of those guys. All right. So let us know if you want to do that. Check us out at skytourlight.org and do that. You can donate anything, but if you do 25, you get a shirt. Hey, that's better than just donating money, right? Give it some thought. Now, back over in the wide field system, we have reached our focus, and you can see right here that we have a parabola curve, and at the low spot, the focus of this curve, the vertex, we have that spot. So what we're going to do now is say it's already got the green and red arrows lined up. It means it's already focused there, so we are good. All right, not bad. Okay, so we can get out of that focus. All right, and now let's do this shot again, and it'll be more of a fair test. And we did 25 seconds over there. We'll do 25 seconds over here. There we go. All right, so we'll come out of this and go into our stack one more time. Meanwhile, let's go look at what's going on over here. Look at that. 31 images. Now, these nebulae, remember, these are in 3D. So this is pretty cool, you know? Let's go look in the chat now. We have Tim F. is with us. Hey, Tim. Nice to see you, man. Eliza Tilde Vaughn, how are you? What happened to its planets? Oh, you know what? Very good question, Eliza. Excellent question. If the star that we're looking at here had planets around it, they would have been far inside this nebula. They would have been literally within the dot that is this white dwarf. Okay, because at the distance of this nebula, which I'll give you the exact distance. Okay, the distance of the dumbbell is on the order of 861 light years. At that distance, the star would be, and its planets would be within the glow of the star itself. So what would happen to a star, to a planets rather? Most likely, the hot ionized gas that would slough off from the star, probably from this event here that came out first, right? This material would have passed over the atmospheres of these planets and probably boiled them right off of the planet. Boiled them right off. And that's just not a pleasant thought now, is it? But that's probably what would have happened. So the planets would have been, for all intents and purposes, destroyed. Okay, here you can see I moved the camera. You can see the next door neighbor astronomer's telescope is pointing at something up in the northeast right now. That's pretty cool. I'll come back. Yep. So that's neat. So we have a lot of company up there. Okay, so back in our view here, all right, now we should have better focus. Let's go in and look. Oh, we didn't. We have a problem with the focus again. That's interesting. See, it looks like donuts. That's not good. I'm going to try something. I'm going to come in here, and I am going to do a manual focus. Oh, I got to do 1 second. Sorry. I'll do this. And then this. Okay. Now let's bring this down. Doing a little experiment here. All right, let's go here. And do this. Okay, so I'm trying to get, there's a star that's pretty obviously out of focus. I'm going to head into here and see what I can do here. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, okay. I'm going to need to do a little better than that. So we'll try it here. Okay, so that star right there needs to be smaller. So let's see which way it wants to go. Okay. Now that made it a little smaller. Do it again. All right, and yeah, okay. We're getting a delay, so I'm gonna have to trust the. I'm gonna have to trust in the system to do it. So let me just do that. All right. All right, so bear with me, guys. I'm just trying to get the focus straight over here. That's a little better. You listen to the music in this commercial break. Just kidding. All right. So that may be pretty close. Now let's try that. Let's see how far off that is. All right, we're going to try this again. We'll do only 20 seconds this time. We don't need to go that much. All right. I got to tell you something. This telescope here is 220 miles from this telescope. And so we're seeing the same nebula from two different vantage points at the same time. I think that's kind of weird, but kind of cool. All right, let's bring up the stack and see what we got. Okay, obviously that doesn't look good because we got to get rid of this. All right, and it looks like that might be better. Might be better. Let's zoom in on that and see. Yeah, these stars are better. Okay, good. All right, we'll let that percolate for a minute. But look at how rough that looks versus how beautiful this looks. This is so clean, so beautiful, and I'm just really happy with how this camera performs. Oh, by the way, I think someone asked in the chat which camera this was. It's two different cameras here. Okay, this camera is the ZWO 533 MC Pro. Mr. Django, correct, he got it right. But the one in this telescope, right, this is the 183 MC Pro. Okay, it's a little different. But I gotta tell you, based on the wide field nature of this scope, okay, and the higher focal length capability of this scope, those two cameras provide the best settings for our images. That is to say, we get the most arc seconds per pixel, is what it's called, using those particular cameras on those particular telescopes. Okay, we're at for those that know what this is, a focal length of roughly 1900 here, and a focal length here of 503 millimeters. Okay, 1900 millimeters, 503 millimeters. So, very interesting stuff. And for those that understand, and that means that we have the ability to look at objects that are extended, and in our telescope, this telescope's a bigger aperture than this one. This is a 10-inch diameter telescope. This one's an 11. Not much difference, but there is a difference. All right, and you can see that it actually does a really fair job. Okay, now the other thing too is I can darken our sky a little bit, because here's our color curve average, the white one, and we have the black curve way off. I can bring that almost up to the top. It'll make it almost as dark as we can get, and as you can see, it increases the contrast for these really, really neat faint shells on the outer side of this nebula. See that? Now keep in mind, this is in 3 dimensions, so this is literally, it goes every which way, so we don't quite know exactly which way they all go, the shells. They're not flat on the sky. These are all in 3 dimensions, so there's 3-dimensionality to that hourglass shape. Okay, the hourglass shape being, that shape inside there. Okay, there's 3-dimensionality to these outer shells. These might go all the way around the entire star, might wrap all the way around, coming at us and going away from us. We can't see what's going away from us. All right. Now, on the other side here, one of the benefits of this telescope is that it will allow us, I'm going to do this right now, have it do a little processing, so we get a little bit more detail, and you can see those faint wisps out here now. Those are here, all right, and they're showing up, but they're not as pronounced. The nice thing is that this telescope over here, we can see all the detail in here, and we can see these wisps here. That's because we are a higher focal length, we have more magnification, and we can spread that light out across the sensor, and it doesn't get saturated in little clumps like in here, where it's actually getting saturated, and we have to saturate that to see the detail out here. But if I take this and move it down and go way down, well, then those are going to start to disappear into the background. But in here, they won't. So you see, each telescope has its own capability and its own proper set of objects that it should look at. All right, so that said, we are going to save this object here, Measure 27, known as the Dumbbell Nebula. Save it exactly as seen. And I didn't do it, but I'm going to do it now. I'm going to reorient this, and I'm going to save with annotation, so this object will be available to you with this annotation on it. Okay, good. So now we're going to check out something else which is very near and dear and really looks spectacular. And we're going to come over here now, save this one as well. M27. Yeah, and save it exactly as seen. Alright, dump you. Okay. And then we'll come out of it. And we have 16 shots over there, but that's fine. Alright, and now let's do this. Go here. Go there. Alright. And now we're going to go to another object which you'll actually really enjoy seeing the difference with, because it's just incredible. Alright, and to do that, we're going to come down here. And we're going to do this object here. It's up in the constellation Cygnus. You'll see the telescope moving slightly. As it gets to this new location, you'll see the crosshair move in here. Here it comes. And there it is. And we'll move it over. Yep. Okay. Okay. Okay, moving over. Okay, wrong way, Feldman. Go this way. Do it right. All right. There we go. Nice. Bring this in. Okay. Very pretty. Yes. You see it? It's a subtle arc right there. You see that? This is actually a supernova remnant, and we're going to be looking at the pretty much most of this remnant at this side of the nebula. It's got two sides to it. It's called the Veil supernova remnant, and we're going to be looking at that. All right, and right there is good. And then we're going to be doing a 25-second photo of it. And it's going to be stacked as well. And we are guiding it. So now we're going to be off and running here. All right. There we go. So you can see our progress bar right here, climbing up on the lower right. And then over in this view here, you'll see, well, wait, Mark, there's nothing here. Correct, because we're not actually seeing the low light view yet. This is the low light view of the Dumbbell Nebula. And now we're going to go to the same object again as the other telescope. And you're going to see it from the perspective, oh gosh, you'll see it from the perspective of this. So here we go. So you'll watch the telescope move. I think you can actually hear it moving a little bit. Yep, that's our warning bell. All right. Okay. Now let me grab a. Let me do this and say, I'm going to plate solve and resync just to get us in the same spot. Here we are. And you can see a curve right here. See that? You see that right there? All right. So we're going to get our guide star and go to town here. The focus looks reasonably okay here. All right. So here we go. Got our guide star coming, and now we'll grab it. Perfect. That's a great guide star. All right. Now we're going to take this picture, and it's going to be... we're going to grab this. We're going to say 25 seconds as well for this. Off it goes. And let's show you what this looks like in the other telescope. So this is going to be a close-up view. This is the wide field view. Look at that. Look at that. Actually, let's do this. Let's drop that down. Okay. Drop it down. All right. And look at that. That's beautiful. Well, I'll bring it back up for a second because what I want to do is I'm going to color correct that, blacken up our background. There we go. Look at those colors. That is just spectacular. Wow. So this is the object now. It extends quite far. Look at this. Goes all the way down here. Look at that. Okay. Now, in our other telescope, I'll show you that as well. In our other telescope, okay, that looks like this. Well, not quite like that. That is the overprocessed view. This is what that view looks like. Okay, much more detail in all these fine tendrils. Okay, and it is a beautiful color of red hydrogen that's ionized, like I mentioned before, and oxygen that is ionized, as I mentioned before. So you see this gorgeous view, and what's interesting is we're looking at a section of this object, just a section. Okay, and the location that we're at in the view of this telescope is, I'll show you in here. We're looking right about here in this nebula, right about here. Okay, that's where we are. And if we go back to that nebula, okay, this is right where we are in that part of the nebula right here. So that's stunning. Look at those very, very fine wisps. By the way, if you're not watching this in 1080p, shame on you. Come on, 1080p, you'll see it much better. Star Panda's with us. Hey, Star, how you doing? Nice to see you. Star Traveler's with us. Good to see you. Rockstar's with us. All right. You know, and Aurelio is with us. Aurelio Maraca. Aurelio is more dumbbell, like more cowbell. That's funny, man. That's Aurelio Maraca. If you ever saw Monty Python, he's friends with Eric Idle. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Okay. So now he has to take all the questions from people about Eric Idle and Monty Python. All right. Aurelio runs Danbury Library's special programs, and he runs the conferences there, and I just spoke there recently. Wonderful guy, great host, you know, and so it's very, very nice being able to talk there. It's always a good time. I sharpened up the detail in here so we can see that. Look at that. Wow. And this is just a huge, extensive nebula. And over in this here, it doesn't look that extensive, does it? Well, I can do the same thing and then let's pull that down. Right, so you can at least see the full extent. This is the full size of our field here. And you see less, but what you see is way more detailed. Okay, way more detailed. So it's amazing. And actually, this is really by far the best camera to use for what we're doing here. It's really gorgeous. So I think you guys like this. Richard Spencer's with us. Hey, Richard. And oh yes, Sharon and Katie asked me to explain ionized. You also wanted me to explain the size of the moon, didn't you? Okay. Here's what I'll lead to the size of the moon. Aurelio, 480? No. 1080p, Aurelio. You can't watch it on 480p. Jeez. You're getting robbed of all the detail. All right, so Sharon, I will tell you. Well, thank you, Aurelio. I will be back. When we look at the moon is actually not quite in a circular orbit. Okay, most orbits are kind of almost circular, but not quite. And so the not quite circular orbits are called elliptical orbits, and so the moon's in an elliptical orbit. And that ellipse, you know, at some points the moon is a little closer to us, a little farther away. And what happens is that orbit kind of rotates around. So the full moon may not be full when it's the biggest size in the sky, right? Because it's that closest point on that ellipse may be here when the moon is here in full. So as that's called precession, as that orbit precesses, we'll get to a point where the full moon will be at the point where it's closest to the Earth. So the moon will be the biggest it'll be in that particular phase. Okay, and that said, we have to keep that in mind. And so the full moon is bigger at those times. And so when we see that, people will call it, well, it's the super moon or whatever, the very, very large moon. Okay, it's when that elliptical point of closest approach is at the location where the moon is full. All right, so that's how that works. That's why it's bigger. Now, what ionized means, on the other hand, is what this nebula is doing right here. All right. There's a lot of gas in the universe. Hydrogen is the most plentiful. Helium is the next plentiful. The next most plentiful gas in the universe is oxygen, believe it or not. Okay, and then after that is carbon, which what you're made of. Okay, so when we look at the colors of nebulae, we look at them in terms of the colors we see, because those colors are generated by what are called atomic transitions. So let's take a hydrogen atom, okay, the red color we see here. When we look at a hydrogen atom, it's a proton, plus one proton in the middle, and an electron going around. You like that? Okay, so the electron is very susceptible to ultraviolet radiation, and it sees ultraviolet radiation from nearby stars, okay, like in here or whatever, and it also sees it from temperature. Okay, if we get high temperatures, those high temperatures can also cause the electron to gain more energy. And sometimes it can gain so much energy that it'll temporarily leave the atom, leaving just a proton in the middle. And that proton is now what's called an ion, just a singular ion, okay? However, if we look at the electron is out there off the atom, bouncing into other things, and then finally it rejoins that atom or a different one. Okay, they don't have the same home, they don't have to. And when they finally bounce back into the same atom, they will, or into an atom, another hydrogen nucleus, when they bounce back into the hydrogen nucleus, as they bounce back in at discrete levels, they give off light. And the most predominant transition, as we call it, in the hydrogen's case, the electron, always go down to the second level in a hydrogen atom the most, all right? Not the third, not the fourth, but the second level. And from the outside of the atom down to that second level, when the electron bounces down to that level, it gives off red light. And that's what we see here. We call that hydrogen alpha. We call that H2, Roman numeral 2. We call it ionized hydrogen. And the same thing with oxygen that we see here. The oxygen here, okay, that's not the response of one oxygen electron being bounced off the atom. It's the response of two electrons being bounced off the atom. Now, that means we have oxygen 3, Roman numeral 3. Now, wait a minute, Mark. It should be 2, you would think, except we leave it off. But when hydrogen has its electron, and they're all happy and home together, when hydrogen has its electron, we call that H1, Roman numeral 1, the ground state. No excitation going on whatsoever. Boring, okay? That's the ground state, and so we call it H1, Roman numeral 1. Well, H1, that's cumbersome, so we just say hydrogen. It's understood to be H1. You ionize hydrogen and kick off that electron, and now you're talking about H2, Roman numeral 2. That's where the 2 comes from, all right? And that's all because of the fact that hydrogen is in its base state got a Roman numeral 1 next to it that you just don't see. Okay, so if you knock 2 electrons off an oxygen atom, well, you're already at oxygen 1. You're going to go to oxygen 2 when 1 goes, and then oxygen 3 when 2 go. I know, but it's crazy. We like to confuse you in astronomy. Now you may notice that bright spot up here. Okay, that bright dot right there. That is the moon rising. And we are looking at the moon right here on this camera, and it's really low and probably won't be high enough to look at with the telescope tonight, but that's okay. Look at this beautiful nebula. That's gorgeous, right? Really, really pretty. And now you can see many more details in here, and it's just gorgeous. Wow. Okay, so what we can do is I'll name this because it may not. No, I'm going to call it. It's called the Eastern Veil Nebula. It's to the east. There's a Western Veil too. Eastern Veil, and that one is the name we're going to use. And so I can, for the stack, I can say we have 23 saved here, or 23 stacked. I will save it. Save it exactly as seen. And let's give a hand for the guider, huh? Look at that guider. That guider is doing overtime tonight. Yay, Mr. Guide. Go for it, guide. You know? All right, so Dean Bussador says a 480 is almost old tube TV. Yeah. Come on, Aurelio, you're getting it now. You gotta get to 1080p, man. You know? He has. Yeah, I know he has. He's probably just being funny because I mentioned about being 1080p. All right, so there we go. So this is our beautiful veil remnant, and I want to say one thing about the shapes we're looking at here. To do that first, I'm gonna take that right up near the top, and I'll tell you why, because I want to really draw some good contrast here. Okay, so what we're looking at here is the veil remnant. Look at all the detail on here. Look at all the filamentary structures, though, all these tendrils of material moving around. And what this is we're looking at a shell of material moving outward. Now, when we're looking on the edges like this, you're going to see a thicker amount of stuff, just like this. But as it gets around the front, you can see through my fingers, it's thinner. And so some of it can be seen right here. See that really faint red right there? That's a bit of the stuff that's kind of coming around the front or going behind us, going behind in the back, right? And then there's a central part where you got stuff here, and then you got another part which has got stuff here. But it's like this. It's three-dimensional. Remember, this is all three-dimensional. So that goes like this, right? And it curves around. And that curve around thing is what can fool us and make us not understand what we're looking at. That said, I'm pretty excited by what we get from this telescope. It's beautiful. We have the moon up now, so our views are going to be somewhat compromised. But let's go to the other telescope 200 miles away. Here we go. And you can see we have a slight brighter background. That's from the moon. This is a wider field system. The wider field system will be subject to a bright background more than the other. So you can see that I've done that there. I've gotten rid of that. What a beautiful nebula here. What a gorgeous, gorgeous nebula. Just the bottom is a beautiful view for this right here. You know? Wow, just beautiful. Really, really stunning. Okay. Now, let's save all of this. All right. We've got 34 frames here. We're going to save it. And before I save it, though, I've got to do the same thing I did before. I have got to... it may not recognize this. May not recognize where we are. Oh, it does. Excellent. Okay. So we can actually say Eastern Veil Network Nebula. Perfect. Okay. That's good. And so I can make that the target name, so we'll be good now. Yeah. And I'll save it like we see it there. And then get out of it. We already made the target name. All right, let's save our image here that we've all been working on together. And for those who are late, we're working on the opportunity to potentially have a third Skytour livestream observatory at 7,000 foot altitude. I'll give you more details as they approach. It may or may not happen, but you know, we'll try to make it happen. Okay, so now we're gonna save the Eastern Veil here and save it exactly as seen. So we have 34. That's just a beautiful, beautiful image right here, over here. Okay, really pretty, really gorgeous. All right, one more to get rid of the moon. So we're gonna get out of this now. Let's redock this guy over here. Let's redock him. There he is, and we'll get out of it. Go back to our low light mode here. Okay, and do this. Bring us up. Good. And then on the other side, first of all, let me also stop guiding here, and then come over to our other telescope on the other side of Arizona. And let's do the same thing here. Let's save it exactly as seen, and then we can redock this one as well, get out of it, and then we can do our low light mode here. There we go. All right, so now I'm gonna do something that's pretty cool. All right, and it's a little bit tough because we have the moon coming, but we're gonna try this anyway. And I think the best way to do this is to try and do a section that I know I want to get, like maybe this guy. All right, we're gonna try this. Okay, telescope's gonna move a little bit. All right, there it goes. You can see our stars moving, zing. All right, and there we are. Okay, so now we're at this new location. Let's zoom out, all right, and see where we are. Okay, so there we are. Okay, now where are we? Well, we are at a region over here, and let's actually center it. Okay, we're going to center in this region right here. This is a region known as the Pelican Nebula. Now, the eye of the pelican is right here, and I know this from experience, and this is the back of the head, and this is the dark lane. So this is kind of a sort of a cool location to be in. I'm gonna move us a little bit westward right now. Okay, and raise it up just a little bit, because I'd like to actually show you a little more of the pelican. You'll notice the back of this head is going to really glow red. Really is pretty. But you'll see a beautiful dark lane over here. Okay. All right. So now we'll let it search, and then we're going to start a 25-second shot. Notice we only do like 25 seconds. That's because that's all we need. And by the way, that's because I'm not going to make you sit through 10 minutes of shooting. I did that the other day. I had to check a few things out. All right, so now we'll come out of this and we'll go into our live stack. Meanwhile, we'll come back over here, and we're going to now come over into our planetarium program here, and we're going to tell it to go to that same location. Okay, that same location, the Pelican. All right, and now we're gonna tell it to come over here, just like this. All right, off we go. You'll see the telescope moving over my head. You might even be able to hear that. All right, and we should be on the Pelican now. And this star, I believe, is the star that is the kind of in between the Pelican and the North America Nebula. And I'm going to want to move this down just a little bit. All right, maybe like that. We're going to get just this top part of it, I believe. Okay. So, that said, that looks pretty cool. And it doesn't look like much right now, but let's do a 25-second exposure of it, okay? And see what we get. think you might like it. Then again, maybe you won't. Maybe I won't. I think I'm where I should be, but we're gonna find out. Let's live stack that. Meanwhile, what's it look like in the other scope? Whoa! Hey, look at that. Here's our pelican. All right, look at that. Let's color correct this. Look at that. What a beautiful object. Now this is where this telescope shines. See? This telescope shines here. This is what it's for. This is what this telescope is all about. Okay? And so the other telescope is great, of course, but it's not meant to show vast nebula. Okay? It's meant only to show areas that are details of a vast nebula. And that's kind of what this is. All right, that we're seeing. So let's go and get that working right now. All right. So what I'm going to do is come over now to this telescope. Well, let me actually, before I do, let's do this. Let's increase our contrast here. Look at that beautiful nebula. Look at that beautiful. Look at all that. See, you can see the dark nebula in here. This is dark stuff, by the way, in front of a brighter nebula behind it. So this is a tongue of dark material that's over this nebula. This and this part here and this part here can see each other just fine because they're actually part of the same nebula, and this dust is sitting in front of it. Okay, really cool. All right, now where we are in the other telescope is here. Now you'll notice this little tongue of dark material, which I wanted you to see right here. Right now, it doesn't look like much right now, right? Because we only have 2 images stacked, all right? But I want you to watch how this develops over the next couple minutes. Now, where is that on the other one? Well, on this other one, that's this little tiny thing right here. See that little tiny thing right there? That's the same thing, all right? But we're going to be looking at this detail right here and checking this out, all right? So that should be pretty cool to see. Yeah, that's something else. Wow. Okay. So, we have 9 images stacked over here. Let's color correct it one more time. There we go. Uh-oh. My Benson telescope disconnected. But it shouldn't have disconnected. It's still up. So I'll just wait it out. And maybe it'll reconnect. Okay, so here we can see that beautiful, beautiful object here that's just starting to show up. That's going to be really pretty. Oh yeah, really pretty, really, really pretty. I like that a lot. Yeah, that's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Meanwhile, over in the other telescope, here, it's actually starting to flesh out this dark object right there. All right, and let's color correct. There we go. A little color correction always helps. And you can see now we're looking at details now, very, very fine details. Okay, in this other telescope, this is the area we're looking at right here. This little area is all we're seeing with the other telescope, and it's in very, very much high definition. So that's kind of cool, you know. So that said, I think it's really cool to look at. Okay, we're no longer guiding, it says. Let's go back and see why. All right, let's go see why. Let's see what's going on here. Other telescope, it's guiding. We're fine. Every once in a while, the guiding gets lost, but we can stop it and get a whole new star. and go again. And it's almost uninterrupted. So we're good. Really cool. Moon's getting brighter. Look at that. It's like 89 or 85%, on the way down in terms of percentage of brightness. Let's take a look here. So, looking here, I'm looking in the chat, see if anyone has any questions. Why are you having a problem? Oh, we're getting wind out there. That's why. Well, that's good. It won't capture an image that's not good, unfortunately. Yeah. So I'll do this again. Let's do this again. Yeah, I should be able to guide on that. I'm just going to fix the guide here. Yeah, we did lose that one a little bit. Yeah, this one did have some wind affected, so got to start it over. Sorry, I'm a stickler. We got to do it right. And we have Kyle with us. That's Astro Lynn, or Lynn Astro. How you doing, Kyle? Nice to see you, man. And so this, like I said, this view, it's a stack, so it has yet to flesh itself out. There's the full frame right there. Right there is the full frame. And then 200 miles away, we've got this telescope. And that full frame corresponds to this region right here. So we're seeing just the back half of the pelican's head. See the pelican? Long beak, eye socket. Kind of looks like a zombie pelican, doesn't it? Right? Yeah. Some people see an animal skull right here with one eye, two eyes, and there's the top of the skull, the bottom, the nose cavity, a horn, or another horn. Maybe it's a cow or something like that, or a goat. And that'd be a zombie goat or a zombie cow skull. Really cool. Yeah. Yeah, 3i has a tail. I'm going to be getting up around 5 in the morning tomorrow to open up the Benson scope to photograph 3i Atlas before the sun rises out there. Alright, so that'll be interesting to do. We should see the tail of 3i Atlas. I mean, I've been calling it a comet, for a long time. People are harassing me about it, calling me names because that's all they've got. But I've got science, man. So, that's what it is. Traveler 29 says, I've heard it called the Deadpool Nebula. It actually does look like Deadpool. Hey, good one, man. Oh, that's cool. Hi, Sherry, how are you? Good to see you. Thanks for coming along and joining us tonight. If I missed any questions or whatever you may have said, guys, I apologize. I'm running two systems 200 miles apart from each other, and so I have both broadcast screens up in front of me, and I switch between the two of them. Okay, and I'm monitoring 4 things on each screen, so that means 8 total things that I'm monitoring at the same time. So I think that's not too bad, right? I think I'm doing okay. I think. Yeah, this is coming out beautiful. Let's actually see if we can get a little more detail out of it. Oh, look at that. See, this is what the wide field system does best. It shows us vast, beautiful nebulae. But this is what the narrow field system does best. It shows us details. Now, we've only got 8 images stacked here. We have a lot more to go if we wanted to. And what we can do is start showcasing some of the detail in here We can see very, very subtle sweeps in here that we don't see in the other telescope. We see little details in here that we don't see in the other telescope. At least we can't get at them. And then we get a satellite who comes through. Actually, that's a tumbler. That's a tumbling satellite. How do I know? Who can tell why that's a tumbler? Put it in the chat. Yes, 3i Atlas has a tail now. It is clearly a comet. You know, I might have told you this before. You know, Avi Loeb, who I know, he's a great guy. I've known him for a while now. He had a scale from 0 to 10, and 10 being fully alien, 0 being not alien, natural. And he said that this might have been a 4. All right. And he himself even said he thinks it's likely a comet, but we have to consider the trajectory coming into our solar system. This thing came in, literally, this thing came in along the plane of our solar system. And the way it came in was really incredible, because the methodology, the manner in which it came in was such that it was hard for us to see how something could actually come in, go by Mars, go around the sun, go by Venus, and on the way out go by Jupiter. That was 0.005% probability of a path like that. So that was strange. And you can't take that away from Avi for saying that, and I don't. That is a very strange thing. So he said a 4, I said initially a 2. I did believe it was a comet because some of the spectra, the data shows that the stuff coming off the comet, some of it was strange, but some of it was also cometary. Carbon dioxide ice, water ice, cyanogen, which is, when we looked at Comet Swan earlier tonight, you saw the green. That's cyanogen and other carbon compounds which cause that green color. Okay? And so comets are green generally, and so 3i Atlas is now looking green. Okay, so this detail is now showing detail within it, if you notice. And it'll show more detail. We have 15 of these stacked right now. And it's starting to show that it's not just one piece. It's actually got a lighter in-between piece that we do not see in this view. Okay. All right. So we can't see that. If we zoom in on this, we'll rapidly get so close that we can't really make out detail in here. Okay, but in this view we can see that detail, we can see what's going on, and the more we stack, the better it'll get. Look at this faint little nebula right there, little guy right there. Okay, that's neat. And over here in the other view, we can't really see that too well. You know, there's a faint little wispy nebula that's sort of lost in the noise here. And in this guy, we can see it very clearly right here. A little wispy there, a little wispy there. In here, we don't really see it that well. So, interesting stuff. Very interesting. So that said, that's why we stick to the wide field view with this telescope, because that's the right usage of this particular scope. All right. Now let's do this. Let's bring that red up. Look at that. Wow. Let's bring in some more contrast. Look at that, gorgeous. Let's move our mid-range in a little. Yes, I should be able to talk to you later this week, Kyle. By the way, Kyle, I'm getting the spectrograph for this system here. So we're well on our way to being able to do spectra of supernovae, stars, and other objects out there. This is pretty. Okay, so I'll be naming our objects now. This will be the Pelican Nebula. Alright. Okay, and we just had wind whack us. So I'm gonna go fix that. Uh-oh. Not good. We lost our guide star. Alright. I'll find it. I'll find it. Alright, let's do that. Now let's do the guide star. There it is. That's the one we want. Okay. Details are coming in really nice here. Yeah. And then in this one, we also have details coming in very nice, which is nice. I think that'll work, Kyle. I reached 13.6 routinely. We're doing it here in this image. Magnitude. Brightness of stars is measured in magnitude. It's a logarithmic scale. And I could go through all that at some point with you guys. Alright. The moon is starting to color affect our object here. And that's always not a good thing. We don't want that. Uh-oh. I think we had a... Yeah, the wind got us. Look, the wind doubled up our stars. Oh, all that time and we screwed it up. Sorry, guys. I think maybe our guider... don't know what happened. Well, anyway, I won't make you sit through that. We do have this one over here, which is really pretty. And we will save it. And I'm going to call it Pelican Nebula. There we go. And that is how it will appear. Okay, so we'll save that. Save it exactly as seen. There we go. Nice. So if anybody has any questions, please let me know in the chat here, because we're closing in on the end of the stream for tonight. And I will be able to answer them. Fog Guys is like, the music is getting weird. Yeah. Yeah. Donald Kunzer, it feels like my eyes are crossed. Yeah, no, I fixed it, but I'm starting over. Don't worry. I'll keep going after you guys are, after we disconnect, I'll keep going just to get this image, because I promised you. All right. So, Donald, another tour. Yeah, that way we do tours, Donald. We love it. We love this stuff. And once again, you know I don't want to keep harping on it with you, but I do want to say, if you guys want to go to skytourlive.org, $25 donation gets you this shirt, a skytourlive.org shirt, and with Pluto on the back here, right there, and I need my space with all the planets, skytourlive.org. That's a great way to support us. That'd be fantastic. Again, skytourlive.org. When you fill out your data, you tell us your size that you want, and we would be happy to send you a shirt, because we got a bunch of them. We're eager to get them to you. Really like to do that for you guys. You know, and it's not like the thing that's weird. Okay, is that people will often like they watch or they look at a telethon, and in the telethon you have to give like $300 to get a mug. Come on, a mug. Ugh. I never, I know it's the thought that counts, but I never saw that as a worthwhile thing, to be honest. So for $25 you get a shirt with some cool stuff on it, and it helps support us. And you guys know I don't take a paycheck for any of this stuff, but it'll go to help support our next site. We've got a third site that I've been mentioning to you that we might be able to open up in. And any donations are very helpful. You can just donate directly to skytourlive.org. You could join our Patreon, which is up here. You see that? You support us by joining our Patreon as a member. You could do a monthly Patreon of like $3, $10, $5, whatever, and help us out. And when you join the Patreon at different levels, the higher levels, we take images like this one, all right, and we will highly process them and make them look just stunning beyond the noisy images that are here. These are the raw images, effectively, and which are always free to you. And you can then get all the beautiful images that we make. And there's different levels you can check out at our Patreon site. But either way, we're looking to make the next big change as get a third system up and running. So anything you can do to help us would be just phenomenal. We absolutely love what we do. We being me, Marianne Robb, and Tara Diulis. Just the three of us in the nonprofit organization. And we don't have any other astronomers currently in the organization to actually do tours with us. I guess that's because the equipment is so. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable doing that yet, and I might down the road. I might consider doing that, but right now, not. So there is the Pelican Nebula. We'll take one more image of it right there. We'll save it, and then save it as a PNG file that you can click on and go see. All right. Well, there you go. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this tonight. We're going to come out of here. But before we go, I'm going to do it. I'm crazy. It's 11:15 here, and I usually go to 1 o'clock with you guys. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to come out of this one with 13 images. Okay. I'll save this here with 13 images. Save it just like we saw. Then I'm going to see if we can see the moon right now. It's coming up in the northeast. And I'm not sure we will, but we do have the Starlink. We do have the Starlink antenna right there. And the telescope may end up looking directly at it. But let's see, right? Let's find out. And we'll see what the moon looks like through those light clouds. Okay, so let's go back here. And it's going to blow out our view, that's for sure. So I got to drop this down to something way less. I'll bring our gain down to 100. Okay, so there we go. All right. Now, if we come into our planetarium view and zoom out a little bit, head over to the northeast. Okay. Let's go this way. I didn't want to do that. Okay, go over here. Keep it going, keep it going. Yep, there's the southeast. And then we have the moon. By the way, now Orion's rising. See that? There's Rigel. There is Bellatrix. There is Betelgeuse. Okay, it's not high enough to see anything of consequence, but this we're going to try and see if we can see something. So I'm going to bring the telescope over there right now just to see what we can see. And the telescope's going to kind of do this little wonky motion. It's going to move itself around. The image is going to get brighter and brighter and brighter. Okay, here it comes. There's our Starlink antenna is almost... That's kind of funny. Okay, there we go. There's the getting brighter and brighter. I'm going to try and drop that down to 50 milliseconds. Okay, and the moon's not quite in the view, is it? Yeah, okay, that's okay. Let's see if I can get it in the view. Go west? Or go east? Maybe go east. Let's try this. Here it comes. There we are. Ta-da! Wow. That's our big old moon. Alright, let's get the craters. There we go. Alright, and let's let's do this. Okay. Now, we don't have the right exposure yet, so we're going to do that. But this gives you an idea how big our view is. Let's also... Okay, let's also drop our exposure. Let's drop our gain actually to 0 now. Okay. And then drop our exposure down to just a few milliseconds. And we'll see more detail up here. We're at 6.25 milliseconds right now. Now we're at 1.56 milliseconds. Look at the heat causing the moon to shimmer. Wow. That's really cool. Here we go. Now that's kind of neat. Now we can move up a little bit. And we can see... Now, see, the telescope, you got to understand, telescope's kind of like in a weird position. So, we have the telescope, you know, it's not right side up, it's flipped on its axis a little bit, so we have all this weird stuff going on. But look at that, huh? That's neat. Let's move the telescope this way. Let's actually go this way. Bring it up to the north end of the moon. And then move the telescope this way. Wrong this way. This way. Yep. Yeah, look at that. Now, it's kind of fuzzy because it's really not in that good of focus because we're right near the horizon and we're looking through clouds right now. So we can't really see it too well, unfortunately. Okay. Yeah. But the Terminator shows okay. I also have a neat little thing I can do. Okay. Again, we can't. Again, it's not going to be possible to focus through the clouds and this low to the horizon this well. We also have the antenna kind of in our way, but we can do this. We can actually do a sharpening run with just the planetary side stuff, and now you can see the rays a little better here. But this is terrible. This is nothing to write home about. Look at all that artifacting. You know, when it gets higher in the sky, it looks better. But hey, I told you I'd show it to you, so I'm showing it to you. Yeah, I might be able to see if I can focus it a little better on the Terminator here. Maybe. But look how bouncy the image is from the clouds. We got a lot of clouds going through there right now. Alright, let's try this. I'm just gonna randomly go 400 cycles positive. Kinda actually helped. Okay, Michael Hedrick has a question. Is there a program to figure out the difference of an impact on the moon without an atmosphere versus an impact on the Earth with atmospheric slowing? Oh, yeah. I actually I have to finish writing it, but I'm writing an asteroid impact program that would be able to calculate all that and show you. But there is one that shows the impacts on the Earth, but I don't believe there's one that shows impacts on the moon. You would need to take in, as you mentioned, you would need to take into account gravity. Yes. Yep. But yeah, I don't know of a program. This haze, by the way, around it, this is from that cloud you see in this image right here. Yeah. So I don't really know of one, Mike, other than the one I'm writing, which will show you impacts on the Earth. And the gravity difference too. Yeah, the gravity difference will make a difference, sure, yeah. I knew you'd have that in the works. Well, yeah, I mean, I've always been fascinated by that. By the way, just so all of you know, there's not going to be any danger to the Earth from any asteroids for at least the next 100 years. We've been looking at a lot of the near-Earth asteroids, and none of them are going to have any danger of hitting us. So, we are good. Let's take this down now. So the focus is a little better on the moon here because of the nature of this lower the horizon thing with the clouds. Good time to be ending too, because those clouds are approaching. They're not harmful, but still, they're just annoyance clouds. Yeah, there's a lot of detail that we can be seen here, even on the horizon. Not bad. Come back up, go all the way up here. That's Tycho, the crater Tycho. It's a little overexposed, but we can actually make Tycho a little bit better just by dropping this down a little bit. Here we go, a little bit more. Yeah, there you go. Now you can see some more details there in Tycho. Kind of neat. Yep. That is the Earth's satellite. Okay. Well, I guess I should just take a snapshot of that, huh? I will. I'll call it the moon. And we'll just take a snapshot. There we are. So that'll be up there, and that's going to look like this. Maybe it didn't do it. Interesting. It needed more. It's not doing that. That's kind of funky. Okay, so if I go way up high, let's see what happens. Now I take a snapshot. What's it going to look like? Let's take a look. Huh. Didn't work. It might be there though. Let's see. Well, I don't know. Interesting. That's funky. Maybe I need to have some gain in there. I don't know. That's weird. Let me go way high. Way out, way overexposed. Let's see if that's what it's got to do. I'm just trying to do a snapshot just to see. This is moon 3. Yeah, see, look. Alright. So, moon 3. You need it to be like, that looks like a first grader shot of the moon, you know? Let's get out of there. Yeah, it's like a first grader's photo of the moon. Mommy, Daddy, I took a picture of the moon. Yeah, obviously not the best, but okay. So you guys got a good feel for it tonight, man. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, I know why. Duh. I had this on. No wonder. My mistake. All right. So guys, I hope you had a good time tonight. We had fun. I sure did, and enjoyed your company. It was a lot of fun. And I would hope that you guys would join us again for the next time. Make sure you, if you want, go to skytourlive.org and get your shirt while they last. We got a number of them left, and hopefully your size will be there. All right, $25 donation is all you need. $25, and you get a shirt, not a mug for $300, like on the telethons. But $25 you get a shirt. Alright guys, you guys have a good night, and I am out of here. Tomorrow morning I will be up early to take a photograph of 3i Atlas, which I will share with you on Facebook when we get to that. Right now I'm going to close down our system here and be ready to take it to sleep. So I'm gonna go back to our home mode here. Zing! Telescope's gonna go to our home position, and then I will tell it to head to bed, just like I should. This little rendering of our telescope is kind of cool. Here we are in a home position. Now we're gonna park. There we go. Good night, little telescope. Yeah. There we are. There we go. The park position keeps it out of the way of the roof, but it does allow it to be up nice and high so that we can peek over the roof, as you saw. Let's take a look. Is the other guy still going? Yep. Here, look at him. His telescope's aiming up in the sky right there. That's cool. Neat. Alright guys, you have a good night. Thank you for joining us. And we will catch up with you later on, and we'll share with you the 3i Atlas photo that I take tomorrow morning. Alright, weather permitting. Anyway, good night folks. Thank you again. And hey, shirts, skytourlive.org. Help us, man, help us. We'll see you guys later. Alright, good night.
Stars so bright in the sky, on Arizona nights they fly. Nebulae in colors rare, clear, brings the universe near. Real-time wonders to see, streaming light for you and me. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light. Sky tours bringing the views. Every night feels brand new. In the dark, the night unfolds, stories of the cosmos told. Through the lens, a distant dream, living real like a gleam. Far away, up so high, across the stars beyond the skull. Through the lens, a distant dream, living real like a gleam. Lift your eye up so high, across the stars beyond the sky. Sky tour shows us the way, every night a new display. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light. Sky tours bringing the views. Every night feels brand new. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light.